Hi everybody, it's time for another Asus Rog Ally video. The kind people at Asus UK have lent me one of these wonderful little devices for a couple of weeks to play around with. And in this video, I want to talk about the ability and the opportunity to use your Rog Ally as, I'm going to say, like a replacement gaming PC and or a desktop PC. Now, it's very important in this video to understand that the ROG Ally I have here is the non-extreme version. So if you get the in inverted commas proper version with the extreme chipset, you're going to get much better performance out of it, and that would kind of colour the kind of conclusions that I would come to. But I'll talk about that. So what I've got here is my ROG Ally is sitting in a USB-C hub. Apologies for all the dust and all this rubbish that's in my computer room. So that connects into there, and then round the back, we can't really see, but there's a HDMI lead that's going up to a monitor. We've got a little dongle to connect a wireless keyboard and mouse, and also I've USB'd in an Xbox controller as well. And so what we've got here is we have Fallout. And so you can see here's Fallout on a nice big monitor. So I've got my nice big monitor, I've got my keyboard and mouse, I've got my Xbox controller, and if we, now this can be a bit tricky this now because I've got to hold the camera with one hand. We can Alt-Tab out, and lo and behold, here right now I can go over to my mouse. So this is the Xbox app, and let's minimize that. There's Microsoft Edge. So there's the desktop on my 24-inch monitor. And as you can see, this is just like any other Windows. Well, this is Windows 11 desktop. I can install any Windows app, bearing in mind the fact that the ROG Ally has 512 gigabytes of memory, and I've got 512 gigabyte SD card in there. But I could put Photoshop on in here, a video editing software, Google Chrome, watch Netflix, all that sort of stuff. That's Microsoft Edge, as you can see there. So we've got the news, then we've got YouTube where we could watch stuff. And the big advantage when it comes to gaming PCs is the fact that you can install all the different launchers. So we've got Battle.net, Call of Duty, Amazon Games, Epic Games Launcher, GOG Galaxy, Xbox. So we can have Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Cloud Streaming. If you're subscribed to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so you've got choice of many games. You've also got the fact that because we're on Windows, we can have things like PUBG, because PUBG doesn't run on Linux, so that's good. And you've got Daisy. We've got Steam as well. There's Steam, and all everything that having Steam means, and it's the full version of Steam. So it's all very good indeed. And I have to say that having played around with the ROG Ally non-extreme version, like this, I've got to say I've been very impressed. And okay, so this is a difficult conclusion to make, and the advantage of these Windows-based machines over something like the Steam Deck is the fact that if you wanted to get into PC gaming, this is a way in as an alternative to a gaming laptop or a gaming desktop PC. And depending on the price that you get your ROG Ally for, that's going to be a question you can really ask yourself, I think, because with the Steam Deck, in fact, let me grab my Steam Deck. So this is the Steam Deck. So arguably, the Steam Deck is a better handheld experience, and the reason for that is the Steam Deck handles battery power better and performance better. So generally, on a game-by-game basis, you tend to get better performance out of the Steam Deck, and also you get much longer battery life. However, the problem with the Steam Deck is it runs on Linux. So I really see the Steam Deck as an accessory for someone who's already got, you've already got a gaming PC, and you've already got a fairly mature gaming library, and you want some way to play some of those games mobily, if that's a word. So you can just pick it up and you can use it on the bus, use it on the train, use it at work, and it's in addition to a Windows gaming PC you've already got. I wouldn't recommend the Steam Deck for someone who doesn't have any gaming library or anything like that. I would always say start by getting a gaming laptop, or start by getting a gaming PC, and then once you've got a mature Steam library, because it is so integrated with Steam, the Steam Deck, as you'd imagine, go for it that way. However, because this is a Windows 11 PC, you could start off with this. As long as you understand the kind of the caveats, and you would have to really look at the prices of one of these and the performance you would get from a ROG Ally, and you'd probably go for the extreme version over something like a gaming laptop or a gaming desktop for a similar price. Obviously, the advantage of this over desktop is that you've got your controls in there, haven't you? You've got your screen. If you buy a desktop, you've got to buy a keyboard, mouse, monitor, all this sort of stuff. Where that comes with that, and even if you buy a gaming laptop, you're gonna have to buy a controller, something like that. And these aren't cheap. These are about £50, aren't they? Whereas in the UK anyway, you can buy the ROG Ally Extreme version. I think the full retail price is about 600, but they do go on sale regularly for cheaper than that. Now, this is the non-extreme version, which I don't think is available in the UK at the moment, but in America you can get it for about $400 from Best Buy, which makes it about £330. And that's a pretty good route into PC gaming, if you ask me. The only things you've got to watch out for with this being the non-extreme version is the fact that, for me anyway, this is a 720p machine. Although it has this wonderful 1080p, 120 hertz variable refresh rate monitor, it works best. Let's just change that a sec. It works best if you turn it down to 720p and fix it to like 60 hertz. It's still variable refresh rate, and then you'll get much better performance out of games. What that means, though, is that when you're using it on a bigger monitor, like here, like a 24-inch monitor, the games are considerably softer. And what happens, I think anyway, with the non-extreme version, is that when you plug it into the power supply and you run it in 25-watt mode instead of 15-watt handheld mode, and you have CPU boost on, you don't actually, let's turn the monitor on, you don't actually gain that much in terms of frames per second. However, if you had the extreme version, which has much more cores than the non-extreme version, when you plug it into a mains power supply and you go to that higher power TDP and you turn the performance boost on, all those extra cores would enable you to run like 1080p at a higher frame rate than you would if you're running in handheld. So it's an interesting thing, I think, and it's something very interesting to think about, that if you're getting into the budget end of a gaming PC, that actually getting something like the ROG Ally Extreme, probably, or the non-extreme, if you can get, if that's your budget, the non-extreme, it gets you into the cheaper end of gaming, and as long as you're happy with running it at 720p and the screen looks great at 720p, it does work. And I've showed in my previous videos, running Cyberpunk. We're obviously running Fallout 4 here. These older games like Fallout 4 and that sort of era games run very, very well. But it will run other stuff pretty well as well. I mean, I've shown videos of it running DayZ, running Armour 3, running Armour Reforged, all that sort of stuff. And it is a very interesting concept. Whereas, as I say, something like the Steam Deck, I don't think is... You can't really do that with the Steam Deck, because although the Steam Deck does have a desktop mode, it is Linux and it's not Windows in the way these are. And obviously one of the big problems with that is that you end up with much poorer battery life on a device like this than you do on a Steam Deck. So if I'm answering that question, could you use the ROG Ally, non-extreme or extreme, as a kind of a desktop replacement or a laptop replacement, or as a cheap entry into the gaming PC market? I think you could. I think if you're on a real budget and you got one of these at a bargain price, and especially if you had you had access to a cheap monitor you could get hold of, like a 24-inch or even a smaller monitor, something like that, so running it at 720p didn't really matter. I mean, with the extreme version, running at 1080p would be fine. This is definitely something to look at. Again, you would really have to look at the equivalent prices of gaming laptops, because a gaming laptop that comes with a keyboard and mouse you know, has its own advantage, which is having a big screen and already, but it's definitely worth thinking about. And I have been very, very surprised with the performance of the ROG Ally, even this non-extreme version. And I would, you know, the screen that I see here on this, I would love to see this on the Steam Deck. And I'm very excited, to be honest, as well, for the next iteration that ROG come up with, Asus come up with their ROG Ally 2, whenever that might be coming out. Because all they've got to do, all Windows have got to do, is to make it a little bit more user-friendly towards being able to use it on a mobile platform. And once you get used to it, it's not that bad. And improve the power management so the battery lasts a lot longer. And all of a sudden, you've got a very exciting proposition indeed. So there we go. Could you use the ROG Ally as a desktop or a gaming PC? And I think the answer is, as a budget one, yes, you definitely could. Anyway, what do you think? Put your questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And I will, of course, see you again soon.